Hello, I'm Mayor Martin Salinas. I'm going to go ahead and call the city council meeting for the city of Briaroaks for April 5th, 2021. And the second item on the agenda it's review meeting procedures to address the council, and what I would like to do, and most of the time it doesn't, but I'm hoping that we want to give everybody, every citizen of Briaroaks the opportunity to speak to the council. But sometimes we tend to, it gets out of control sometimes. So I'm asking that we try to do it a little bit more orderly, and I would like, if you have a question regarding the council or regarding me or any, to wait at the end of the meeting before we adjourn, and we'll give you 5 minutes per person. Now, if you want more time with that, ask us, and we'll put you on the agenda so you can have all the time you need, and you can speak and address the council, and you'll have as much time that you need to talk to us and address your concerns. But all I'm trying to do is try to make it a little bit more orderly where we don't, sometimes we have a tendency of kind of losing focus, and then we don't really get a lot accomplished. So I'm just as guilty as everybody else. Kind of like me.
Do roll call. Carolyn Johnson. Here. Andy Bode.
Here.
Martin Salinas.
Here.
Jack Perkey.
Here.
Terri Here. And we no longer have Mr. Foster on council. He did pass away March 9th. So we are down council member.
Okay, we have a quorum. Next item would be review and approve the minutes for the October 5th, December 7th, March 1st. We're not approved of.
We have not approved October's meeting minutes. I'm not in possession of those. So I'm not sure if we have them from that meeting.
Okay, I think the March meeting was very short. Is that the?
October?
No, we have well, this is April. This was February?
Yeah, I have February. I wanted to do December. I was hoping we could do October's.
October, there was no one taking notes. No one was appointed to take notes. So apparently we don't have any.
The October for sure, that was when Mrs. Schrader, I think, which was our city secretary, Terri, resigned like the day of the meeting. She just gave me a call and said that she wasn't coming back, she resigned. So
I thought that was August.
It was.
It's been a while.
So October, we don't have October.
We don't have October because no one was appointed to take the minutes. I don't know what we're going to do about that in violation. It takes us long.
So I'll proceed with reading December 7th, 2020. Call to order. The meeting was called to order at 7:31 p.m. by Mayor Martin Salinas. Council members present were Andy Bode, Mayor Pro Tem, Jack Perkey, Terri Witcher, Carolyn Johnson, and Mr. Richard Foster was absent. There was a quorum. Minutes for the October 5th, 2020 meeting were not presented. Mayor Salinas read the minutes from the November 16th special meeting. Councilmember Bode wanted it noted that the Texas Government Code 102.009 was not followed. Mayor Salinas stated that the code didn't apply in this situation, which was confirmed by the Attorney General's office prior to the November 16th meeting. Councilmember Witcher reaffirmed what the mayor stated, that we must follow what the Attorney General's office advised. A motion was made to accept the November minutes by Councilmember Witcher, seconded by Councilmember Perkey, with a vote of 3 in favor, 1 against by Councilmember Johnson. The treasurer report was read by Mayor Salinas for both October and November 2020. Mayor Salinas processed a $5,000 transfer from the general to special account for operating needs. A motion to accept treasury report by Councilmember Witcher, seconded by Councilmember Perkey, with a vote of 3 in favor, 1 against by Councilmember Bode. The animal control report was presented by Vicky Perkey. She drove around, but nothing out of the ordinary was found. Police report was presented by Paul Stevens. He did routine patrol, no calls, nothing out of the ordinary. For old business, the new city secretary, the mayor stated that the new city secretary was hired at the November special meeting, and the salary increase approved would be added to the budget discussion. An application wasn't presented to the applicant. One will be filled out and on file for review. Budget for 2021. The budget for 2021 was drafted and discussed. The budget is to be approved at the February meeting. Discussion of possible action on having monthly city council meetings versus current bi-monthly meetings. Discussion ensued about the pros and cons of monthly meetings. Councilmember Witcher made a motion to make a change to where the city would meet for monthly meetings, but the motion was not seconded. Discussion and possible action concerning joining TML. The 2021 TML membership was discussed and added to the 21 budget. Councilmember Bode was presented payment for the membership. Discussion and possible action regarding houses or buildings built without city council notification. It was discussed during the budget. It's probable the police officer's salary budget would be changed to a code compliance person to enforce ordinances for the city. Discussion and possible action on stop signs, city limit signs, and weight limit signs. Councilmember Foster previously requested the signs be updated since some of them are faded. It was deferred by Mayor Salinas to talk about it during the budget discussion. Ultimately, no formal decision was made. Discussion and possible action on contacting residents concerning business in Briaroaks. No action was taken. They needed further clarity. A possible letter to be sent to all residents will be restated at the next meeting. Discussion and possible action on 2145 Charter Road. Mayor Salinas suggested a certified letter be sent to the property owner requesting him to attend a city council meeting. The property owner will need to bring requested permits and notify council why they didn't build what was approved in June of 2019. The city may need to contact an attorney to take further action. New business. Discussion and possible action on hiring a payroll company. The item was added to the budget, expected to be approved in February. Review for the website for 2021, no discussion. Discussion and possible action on hiring a police officer. The police officer's position will possibly become a code compliance inspector. Announce the 2021 election. The election was announced with applications being accepted from January 13th, 2021 to February 12th, 2021 at 5 p.m. Refer to the posted election information for submission. Citizens to address the council. Cindy Peters was not present at the meeting. A motion to adjourn was made by Councilmember Witcher, seconded by Councilmember Perkey, at 9:37 PM, with a vote of 4 in favor. That's just a lot of reading. That's all. The motion to accept the meeting minutes.
How much did they accept the minutes?
Are you second?
I'd like to discuss something.
Okay, this is, you have every right to discuss it, but before we discuss, I got a suggestion.
Okay.
The county sends out the minutes to everybody. We only meet once every 2 months. You have 2 months to review the minutes and then send back corrections to the county. I think if we all do that, it would speed up. Yes, sir, and you have every right. Let me just let you know. And then you have every right to corrections. And once you send the corrections in and stuff, then she can correct them and send you back the corrected minutes, that way you have them. But at the same time, if you have a question, like you have, then you have every right to discuss your concern. But what I'm asking, if it's possible, once you receive the minutes, correct them, change them, send them back to Kelly, and then if you have any concerns, we can discuss them, and it'll make the meetings run a little better, and we'll make them go a little faster, instead of waiting and going by every line, trying to correct the minutes while we're doing, or the council, while we're doing our review. But that's just a suggestion. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I wanted to ask our secretary, did you ever put an application on file?
Yes.
Okay.
That was like interesting.
And while she's looking, I have one other concern, and it's about the code compliance inspection. And the interest of transparency, who suggested that? Instead of a policeman?
No, we said, I might have done that, I might have suggested it, but I'm not saying that that's what we're gonna do. That was just something that I said y'all might consider. You might, and of course, you have your pros and cons. And when they say code compliance officer, I think, so I didn't say code compliance officer. I think it would be good for us to have someone that would help us, pick up trash on the ditches that to make Briaroaks look a little cleaner, a little nicer, pick up trash. A lot of these limbs and stuff that people leave in their, in their ditch, and sometimes people will, there's sometimes people who drive through Briaroaks and throw out trash. So what I would suggest is maybe we could hire someone that maybe just pay $10 a month. It's just something that he could go by and clean up, pick up trash, and make Briaroaks look a little nicer. As far as the police officer, we have, sometimes we do. The county can come and do some, the county can come and do some calls for us, but they can't enforce the orders. I'll give you an example. There was a wild party on Bode on Saturday. The sheriff's office came, and they were able to go talk to the people about going around the music and stuff, but they can't enforce the ordinance in the county. So, and then at the same time, if we hire a new police officer, I think we need to make him safer. And when I say that, we don't have an agreement with Johnson County, and I checked. If they want to run a driver license check, if they stop something, and they want to run a driver license check, or run a criminal history check on the person they have stopped, you know, they cannot run that check for Briaroaks police officer, because we're not a member of Johnson County where they pay. We gotta pay in to them in order for them to run driver license check and criminal history checks. So technically, we're playing with fire. Because we're hiring a police officer, but we're not giving him the tools to be safe. So, you know.
Well, who's gonna make us safe? It'll end up vigilante law because everybody is for himself if we don't have any kind of protection here.
I never said that not to hire a police officer. I said that we should consider hiring the guy, maybe paying him 10 hours a month so he can help us clean water districts and make the city look better. And if we're gonna hire a new police officer, we need to make him safe. So if he's out there running a criminal history of a person that might be wanted, he should be able to know that, and the county should be able to say, hey, be careful, we're sending you some backup because this guy's dangerous. This other way, he has no clue because he can't run a check. We're not a member of that. We gotta pay so much money per year. And I did ask the Judge Harmon's office, well, how much is it per month or per year? And the lady said, well, he's not in at the time, and I don't know how much it is per year. But that's my concern. Yes, you want to be safe, but at the same time, we got to make the officers safe too.
Well, we won't have any protection.
No, this is on the agenda.
Huh?
We don't have to go through this, it's on our agenda for tonight.
Well, give me the definition of a code.
Well, you give
No, I
No,
want
me
you
to
to.
go right.
If you suggested one, I'd like for you to
No,
tell
but
me
there you
what
go
they
again.
do.
I never said it. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what a code compliance officer is. A code compliance officer can write tickets for trash that you build up in front of your house. If you have, when you got too many cars parked in front of the street, or in front of your yard. He can, a code compliance officer cannot, he can help us, if you want to, like, look at the permits and see if they're up to date, if you want to follow, like building people that are building homes, look at the permits and stuff like that. But a code compliance officer cannot arrest anybody. Now, he can give citations. A code compliance officer can give citations, but not speeding tickets. They can give citations for too much junk on your yard, not following the ordinance, the way you build a home, like citations for that. But I want to make myself clear, I didn't ever say code compliance officer. I said, would it be, take a look, maybe we should hire somebody, maybe 10 hours a month, to help us clean up the bar issues and stuff like that.
Well, I always thought each resident was responsible for their own yardage.
Well, they're supposed to, I mean, I know that we try to police each other and try to make things better, but
I think it looks pretty good myself.
everybody.
I think everybody does a good job out there.
You're entitled to that thing. And another thing, I cannot vote on this unless it's top. So y'all vote on it, y'all don't even have to consider it. That was just something that I brought up. Okay? But you don't have to make a motion to vote on it, you don't have to consider it. But it's just my opinion, okay? You have an opinion, I have. And my opinion was, it'd be nice to have somebody to pay $10 a month or so to clean up our ditches and make Briaroaks better. And if we're gonna hire a police officer, which we should, because there's pros and cons for my head. And Saturday, 11 o'clock, for example, when the sheriff's office came out, they put it before the city limits. But if we're gonna hire one, we have to make him safe, so he can protect the other. Concern?
First off, the minutes or her record is what she puts out there. We should not give any indication of whether it's right or wrong till we come in here and discuss it as a group. Not everyone has access to the minutes like you say that.
We don't have a computer at home, you want me to drop the minutes off to your house?
No, I'm just saying that we are supposed to make any changes here in an open forum at the same time so that we can discuss it, because not everyone has the same recollection of facts. And it's best to talk as a group to get the proper facts, because not everybody is perfect.
Okay, well, good. Again, that was a suggestion. If you don't want that, and you want to continue doing, read the minutes, correcting the minutes in front of everybody, I said it would speed up. But if you prefer not to, you're the ones, the council's the one that votes on it. I make a suggestion.
Now, if that's your suggestion, now I have a suggestion. Instead of sitting here and wasting time reading it, if we had packets before we got here, like other cities, we can read it and then you can go and you can, say, okay, we're gonna discuss the minutes on this. You don't have to sit there and read them. You can already read them before you get there. Make your notes, and then we can say, okay, we like it as it is, approve it, and we're moving on.
Okay?
1 minute, 2 minutes into it, you're done.
Okay, but see, you're acting like I'm your secretary. I'm not your secretary. No, that was, all
that
you
was my
gotta
opinion.
do, all you
I'm not
gotta do
done talking.
is
No.
ask Kelly to give you the packets. If Ms. Johnson needs a packet, you need a packet, and she can supply you with all the packets you need. I'm not gonna give you a packet because that's not my job.
When did I say you were the secretary?
What you're saying is that you need
We have a
packet.
secretary. I'm saying that she provides us those packets ahead of
The
time.
council works for you, right? The city secretary works for the council. So if you need a packet today, if you need a packet a day before the meeting,
Every person should get it.
tell the city secretary that you would like to have a packet a week before the meeting, 2 days before the meeting, and I'm sure Carolyn will give you a packet.
Did you receive a packet in the past and I was failed to be notified that I was supposed to supply a packet prior to the meeting? Because it's the first I'm hearing about a packet.
I know.
Okay.
I just made that suggestion, and he's making it sound like I'm accusing him of being the secretary.
Okay.
I'm not.
I thought you
It
were
was a
used to
suggestion.
receiving
That's
one.
all it was. You made a suggestion, I made a suggestion to speed up the
But if you want a packet,
proceedings.
but if you want a packet, talk to the city secretary.
We did get, the minutes through the mail. Mary Foster would go home after the meeting, type them up, put them in the mail the next day or two, and we would receive them by mail.
Okay, so
For
I was
review.
never notified to mail them to each councilor when I was hired on.
It's because
I
you
provided them
don't
by
have
email.
your duties.
Okay,
You were hired without duties.
Okay.
Or, you know, the list of duties that you should have.
Okay,
That's just a suggestion.
Go ahead.
I think Martin was talking about that we spent so much time in this meeting saying, how do you spell Stevens? And you corrected it. How do you spell that? It's little corrections like that that I think can be made ahead of time, that everybody doesn't have to sit here and wait to see how you spell Stevens. Yes, if you have a comment on the minutes, of course, you should address that at the meeting. But if it's little typos, it shouldn't really affect any part of the meeting. And I don't need my packet printed, I have a printer.
There's always typos, you know, that's just the way things
Well, I
are.
think typos should be addressed prior to everybody getting together. I think that's what we were talking about, just waste time. But if it's something above that, of course, that makes sense.
The thing is, these are filed in their own file, and people look at them. And that's why they leave.
But don't you see that you get a more corrected version if you told somebody how to spell Stevens before they got here? Because they're not gonna get a corrected version. What's on file is the final. So something so small that wouldn't actually change the document should be addressed ahead of time. I just think in the sake of the time, we start the meeting at 7:30, you know, and some people have to work tomorrow. So I just think that would.
Sorry.
Now that we've covered that, I want to get to the second part of what my concern was. You brought up the code compliance officer, and you said, you know, it was just a suggestion. Why is it on our budget then? It's not supposed to be on our budget. The police officer is supposed to be on our budget. That's what was posted out there. Now, we can discuss the code enforcement officer after it gets approved. That's cool.
I didn't put it on.
I know, but it's on there.
The budget's not approved.
It's right here.
Yeah.
It says code compliance officer, the policeman is gone. That means you defunded the police.
The police need to. And the budget is not approved, so it's not sent.
It should not have been sent to us like this, that says code compliance officer. And it should say police officer. That's what was given as our proposed budget.
The budget's not approved,
That was the
so
point.
changes can be made to it.
Well, you know, you talk about defunding the police. I've served 35 years as a police officer. So I would never even think about defunding the police.
Good. There's
You know, you don't know how it is to be out on the streets. So that's why I was saying about when you hire a new police officer, make it safe for him. Give him the tools for him to be safe. Don't just throw him out there in a car, but he cannot call in to see if the person he stopped is wanted for some criminal offense. That's what I'm saying.
I believe at one time we did pay for that.
Yes, I don't know, maybe it just got expired, but I did talk to Judge Harmer's office, and they said they were wanting to pay for it.
I think when they got this car and set everything up, they paid for it.
Any other? Mr. Perkey? Okay.
so Terri made a motion to approve the meeting minutes. Do I have a second?
Have a second to approve the minutes? Okay. Vote? Or yes, to approve it?
All in favor?
Am I in favor? Okay, 4-0. Carry.
Meeting minutes from March 1st, 2021. Call to order, the meeting was called to order at 6 p.m. by Mayor Martin Salinas. Roll call, council members present were Andy Bode, Mayor Pro Tem, Jack Perkey, Terri Richard, Carolyn Johnson, and Richard Foster was absent. There was a quorum. City of Briaroaks election items. Confirmation of Autumn Park lease agreement. The lease agreement was signed and returned to Johnson County by Secretary Kelly Alpin on February 12th. She will pick up the machine and receive training from the county on April 13th. Necessary paperwork for the election. Order of election. There are 2 candidates for mayor and uncontested for seats 2 and 4. Councilmember Terri Witcher motioned to have the election, and Councilmember Jack Perkey seconded. The vote was 4-0 in favor of holding the election. All council members and the mayor signed the order, which Secretary Kelly Alpin returned to Johnson County by the March 3rd deadline. Notice of election. The notice is completed by default when the council voted to hold the election. Mayor Salinas signed the notice and will be posted on the notice board at the fire hall and on the website. Discuss and possible action on election judges. There was much discussion on who would fulfill the duties of election judge, alternate election judge, and clerk. Councilmember Terri Witcher was to contact the 2019 election judge, and Mayor Martin Salinas was to contact another person and see if they would be interested in helping. Final decisions are to be made at the April 5th meeting. Election judges must be in place no later than April 16th. Drawing for place on the ballot. The drawing was conducted by Secretary Kelly Alpin. The names of Jerry D. Mabry and Martin Salinas were written on 2 pieces of paper, shown to the present members and attendees, and placed in a box. The first name drawn was Mr. Mabry, and then Mr. Salinas. Mr. Mabry will be listed as option 1 on the ballot, and Mr. Salinas will be option 2. A motion to adjourn was made by Councilmember Witcher, seconded by Councilmember Perkey at 6:43 p.m. with a vote of 4 in favor. Are there any corrections, comments? We have a motion to accept.
My name is misspelled, like I said. It happens. Like it's all worse.
Okay. Make a motion. For the
Motion.
motion.
I'm sorry.
Second motion. Favor? 4. 4-0. Favor?
Okay, treasurer's report. So the financial report for December of 2020. The Briaroaks special account had a beginning balance of $4,906. Expenses were $750, which included the police officer salary of $300, animal control salary of $75, municipal judge salary for Q1 2021 at $375. The intermonth balance was $4,156. Outstanding items, $626.83. This is secretary salaries for November, $300, December, $300, and secretary reimbursement of $26.83. Current balance at the end of December was $3,529.17. Briaroaks general account, the beginning balance, $167,417.31. Expenses of $131.49. AT&T cell phone of $81.49. Municipal judge training of $50. Receipts of $4,025.61. The AT&T franchise of $332.14. Texas comptroller $3,693.47. Current balance at the end of the month, $171,311.43. The Briaroaks savings account for fourth quarter 2020, beginning balance of $8,201.02. Receipts of $54.86. With the CD interest for Q4 of the $54.86. Interest earned, another line item, 21 cents. Current balance, $8,256.09.
The $8,000, that's just the savings, that's just the interest that's accumulated into that from the other CDs. That's just the interest. That's not counting the other CDs of the city.
So we have multiple CDs, CD 745 compounds, its balance is 23,302.17. Have a CD 685, 10,000. CD 746 compounds, it's $17,476.61. CD 385 compounds, it's $23,302.17. I have 5 more CDs that I have yet to receive statements on, so I do not have those balances. Any questions for December's 2020 financials? You have a motion to accept December.
I'll make a motion to accept the red.
Is there a second?
Second.
In favor, vote. 4, vote. Okay.
January, financial report for January 2021. Briaroaks special account, beginning balance $4,156. Expenses of $450, with police officer salary of $300, animal control salaries of $75. End of month balance $3,706. The reason for that is we have a police officer salary on there is because they were paid out on January 1st for December's work. Briaroaks general account, beginning balance $171,311.43. Expenses $1,404.53. Texas municipal leave, check for $591. Secretary salaries for November of 2020, $300. Secretary salaries December 2020, $300. T-Mobile cell phone, $84.65. AT&T cell phone, $81.49. Office supplies, $26.83. United Cooperative light bill for $20.56. Receipts of $4,025.61 from the Texas comptroller. End of month balance $173,721.46. And there are no CD financials for that month because they're quarterly. We have a motion to accept them. There's only two. There's only two for January and February because the CDs are quarterly. So we don't know.
I motion to accept.
Second.
Also,
Second. Favor? Vote. Favor? All right.
Financial report for February 2021. The special account, beginning balance $3,706. Receipts $642.52. That's the Texas comptroller account that received. End of month balance $4,348.52. The Briaroaks general account, beginning balance $173,741.46. Expenses of $1,428.41. United Cooperative Services was written a check for $1,000. Website hosting fee, $165.86. T-Mobile cell phone for January 20 was $89.69. T-Mobile cell phone for February 20, $89.69. AT&T cell phone, $83.17. Receipts of $5,085.18. Texas comptroller, $4,730.54. AT&T franchise fees, there's 2 of them, one of them for $63.52, one of them for $291.12. End of month balance, $177,398.23. Outstanding items for $500 from the secretary's salaries from January 2021. So the current balance is really $176,890.23. Do you have a motion to accept them?
Motion to accept as read.
Vote in favor? Vote. Vote.
Animal control report, they each rode around, looked for anything out of the ordinary, but didn't find anything for February and March of 2021.
On this old business, y'all need to refresh my memory, because it's been a while, and I didn't put these on the agenda, so, it says, discussion and possible action of updating stop signs, city limit signs. We have requested to be placed on the agenda. Feel free to talk about it.
What's the one on Bellevue? Well,
The end of Valley.
Yeah.
The ones, yeah, right, one,
Terri there,
right, the freeway stop.
but the one facing the east, it is faded out, it needs to be replaced.
Okay. Since we don't have anybody that cleans ditches and helps us do signs, I'll be glad. Y'all can help. Andy, you're strong. We can take that stop sign. Yes, sir.
I got the 11 that signs that y'all have.
Yeah, I have them already. We got them brand new. But I appreciate it. Appreciate you.
One of those.
Okay. And, I'll get your number, we can set a later time, and
Yep, no
I'm
problem.
glad to help. I mean, I'll be right there, I'm brand new. So other discussion? Yes,
There
sir.
is a city limit sign missing when you come in on Briaroaks Road.
I was
Yes.
just saying the same thing, I
Yes,
noticed that.
matter of fact, I got some in too.
Okay.
what about the weight limit signs? Have we ever had those?
Yeah, there's one on Ward Lane,
There's one where?
Ward Lane, right as you turn the corner by
Yeah.
Mrs. Foster.
Oh, yeah.
I believe there's one coming the other way too when you come in the city by.
There needs to be one going Briaroaks, that's where the big trucks are going.
I don't have any, I didn't order it, I did have to order
It
some.
needs to be posted right from a big V crane.
Sir? Yeah, really?
There's a new home going in at the end of Trailwood, that's where all those big trucks are going, cement trucks.
What's going on at the end of Trailwood?
There's a new home being built,
Oh,
so
okay.
that's where all those big large trucks are going.
At the end of Briaroaks, we got a lot of oil and gas, and it comes up that road, comes through.
It's not Briaroaks, it's in the Johnson County dirt road, so we're right there.
It's a lot.
Next.
Yeah.
Discussion and possible action on contacting residents concerning city businesses in Briaroaks.
Excuse me, that was my idea. I think, just like so many people are, well, not informed of the ordinances that are already set in place, things like that you have to have a garage sale permit, that you can't have junk cars. There's ordinances that are already there. People don't know they're there. You just can't have your cars, old cars sitting in front of your house. There's ordinances, but we don't make it known, and they don't know that, and how would you? So I really think that we should put together a letter, just basically saying, hey, did you know this? Did you know that you had, if you're gonna build a house in Briaroaks, if you're gonna do this, you have to have it approved from the city council. It's for everybody touching it, because you're gonna have a bunch of shanty shacks, you're gonna have the same issue that we do on Tarver Road. If we don't address this, then I don't think they're doing it on purpose, it's because there's no communication. So that's what I like. I know we have a website, which is great, but everybody doesn't even know that exists. So I think that should be in the letter too. So we should kind of put our heads together and decide, you know, if y'all wanna do that, then what we need to put in our letter, but that could take, you know, a little bit. I just want people to ponder that. And y'all certainly have an opinion too on that as well. But that's my whole thing, is I just wanted to have communication. Because the first meeting I came here, it was like, you have a permit for a garage sale? How would I know that? You know, it's things like that. So that's where that came from. So,
Yeah, a newsletter has been suggested several times, and it needs to be done.
yeah.
I agree.
So we'll have to, you know,
But, you know, just to keep everybody informed, because I'm not real sure, everybody knows we still have, we have a council.
no, we, back in America, this time I need, I remember when we come in here and said, I've lived here for 30 years, you need to know y'all here. So that's, you know, people want to be involved, but it's not really new. So I'm going to, Salinas, probably going to be really instrumental in helping get that together, that she needs to be involved as well. So I mean, I look at the ordinances, I mean, I didn't even know the ordinances, but I have gone through all of them and decide which ones y'all think are important too. You know, we just start with, you can get them all in one newsletter, but I think.
Well, we can highlight certain ones that are obviously the more pertinent to things like the cars or keeping the ditches clean, and kind of the ones that like we want to really draw attention to at first. We don't necessarily have to print all of them, because that's going to get very, very expensive. We try to, obviously, if somebody wants one in print, you can always request them from me. It's Public Information Act, I have to get those out. They're all posted on the website already. So we can direct people to the website within the letter. And then should anybody want something, they can always reach out to me by mail, by phone, email, and say, hey, I need you to print one for me, and it's my job. And I send them. You know, and at least if we start with a letter, I mean, if you start mailing multiple pages, it's going to get very, very expensive for the city. You know, but at least there, I have one, and always see them out.
Do you have all the ordinances?
Yeah, I have the original book of them.
Good.
We asked for them back last August.
Okay, I wasn't secretary then, so I'm sorry.
Ordinances, 8 to 5 of 19 that are meeting here. I asked for a copy of the ordinances. I know that you weren't here. And I would like to still have a copy of those ordinances. If there's an expense involved in those, I will pay that, but I would like to have a copy of the ordinances, so, and that's why I asked for them almost 2 years ago. I've received some of them from people who have given me some copies that they have had, but I haven't got a copy of all of the ordinances. So that's 2 years. Do you need a request from me written out and so forth, and a check from me? Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not a check. We can talk, but yes, I'll get with you if you stay after the meeting, and we'll get that.
I was just gonna suggest possibly a welcome to Briaroaks, move in new resident letter. Here's our website. It has our ordinances. By the way, here's a couple of quick tips to, if you're gonna build something, you need a permit. If you're gonna have a garage sale, you need a permit. You can come to our meeting, this is when they are. It's that easy.
I think it's great. I did that, a couple of people just on Briaroaks, because I just knew, you know, what's in there. But I do like that.
It's also a good way to just meet your neighbor. The neighborhood should be neighborly, and the council should be neighborly.
I don't even know what utility companies are out
Yeah,
there.
if people know the ordinances, then they may not do some of the stuff that they do.
But we've had people.
I don't have, I didn't even know we had ordinances for a long time.
We've had people show up here and say, I thought I lived in Burns.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know how you go through the process of buying a house and not know you don't live in Burns and don't pay Burns and taxes. But
But the
we've
other
had that
side,
happen.
but the other side of the point is, if we're gonna have ordinances, they either need to be enforced or need to be set aside.
Those ordinances were promised to be put on the website last month.
The ordinances are on the website.
That's where I
All
got
of them,
I believe I looked
I
at
haven't
what I
looked
have.
lately, they weren't.
So last time I looked, there were 16.
I suggested maybe you send out a letter, just one, and put it on the website, and then things on the website that they can get. And that way they
Yes.
can
Yeah.
know what's going on in the city.
Yeah.
Sir, have you logged on to the website and looked at the city ordinance?
I've tried to log on to the website and couldn't get on.
Do you know exactly what ordinance you need? Do I have?
No, I don't, because I don't know what the ordinances are.
The website is briaroakstx.com.
Yeah, but it was down for a while. That's what he's talking about. It was down. It's up now.
Okay.
So maybe by the next meeting, we can have a draft or something together, any ideas? I guess when you start seeing
I can't see. I can't hear you.
maybe by our next meeting, we can have a draft, so we can look over some of the items and just discuss.
Once we have that, we can approve it, go with it.
Would you guys like me to make that initial draft and present it, or are you all going to
If,
submit
if
something?
we have a draft to present to everyone here and then go over it, there may be a suggestion or two.
So I'm saying you're wanting me to draft
If
it,
you
just so we're
can,
clear.
yeah.
Okay.
There's 14 ordinances on
Be a good idea.
website.
Yeah, there's not that many. It's not like we have a big book of ordinance.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
And that was the saying, I have extra copies at home that, that's why I was asking him if he knew exactly which ones he was missing, that I could give him a copy. But I can look at all 14, and if he needs all 14, I'll give you all 14.
Okay.
Now, I know that on, discussion possible action 2145 Harwood Road, I'm open for suggestion from the council as far as how exactly do you all want to do this on 2145 Harwood?
That is really a non-issue anymore. The previous, what was it, the last meeting or the previous meeting before that, that it was completely approved and they did the building, it was done. We should have had the stuff ahead of time, but it was approved. So actually, that should be a dead issue, that, we should never see that again. Not for
I thought there were some items where we didn't have enough masonry on it, and if the square footage was off. I mean, I don't know that part of the road.
the thing was, it was approved by the council though.
It was approved, but it was before I was on the city council, so I mean, I don't know.
It was before you started.
See, the problem was that he brought the plans and showed us how he was gonna build it, say the right. So when he built it, he didn't exactly go by what the plans were.
And we okay.
But we had voted, we approved the permit to build it the way it was supposed to be built, right? But he built it not quite the specs, the way the permit was approved. So I think we have discussed this and kind of gone over and over. Of course, this is just my opinion. I think what we kind of messed up, the council. Because we probably should have kept them done a better job of seeing how anybody that gets a permit to build in Briaroaks, the council probably needs to do a better job seeing and making sure that the house is built to specs. And we didn't do it. So in order now to correct it, we would probably have to, hire an attorney, write a letter, take them to court, put a lien on the property. And I think we're the ones that messed up. We probably should have checked them.
There's a 4-year statute on that. There's a 4-year statute.
Yes.
So we're still within 2 years and 2 months to take action on that property without having to obtain a lawyer.
But, I say, I don't have a vote on it unless it's a tie, and I'm gonna leave it up to the council, but that's the way I look at it. I believe that we probably should have done a better job making sure it was built the right way.
Did they follow the deed restrictions?
No,
No.
Wouldn't that be a county issue, county deed restriction?
it's a neighbor issue.
But they also didn't follow the ordinances or what was approved by you all on council at the time.
Council approved it, she said.
Right, but they didn't build it to what you approved, so how are you going to enforce that?
No, he actually had, part of the issue was the amount of brick.
Right,
He added above what he showed us. So he actually was closer to compliance.
You're thinking
than
of the
what he
wrong person.
presented to the council. And he agreed to it in the council approved it. That's the way it went.
Yes, ma'am.
That was
Andy.
before you were even mayor.
Yeah.
It was when Mr. Dunn was mayor. This was started in 2018.
No, I was here.
It's-
I have been here since.
it was approved
March
in June
zero.
of 2019.
Yeah.
This all started before he was mayor.
I was here when this was.
I understand
It
it
was-
started in
it-
December of
Okay,
2018.
I was telling I was here when that was approved in March.
I understand it started in December of 2018 with the sale of the property.
That's not what we're talking about.
I understand it brought plans along with them on the sale, when the sale of the property
Well,
occurred.
we need to stay on the agenda.
Can I ask a question about that? Just interject one question. So if somebody presents plans and they don't build it according to what they stated they were gonna build it at, the council is making the suggestion that you just don't do anything? Is that what I heard? I'm just,
What he suggested in the meeting was he was going to increase the amount of brick that he was going to put out there. He did that.
oh, he did?
He did that.
Okay.
It was closer to compliance than what he initially gave us.
Last time I drove by that building, it doesn't
Initially, it was only
have.
like 40% is what he showed us, and that's not enough.
It's 60% for
It was
each
60,
notes.
right, that's what we agreed to, like 60.
60 for the notes. So
So,
it's more than 60% on that building?
On that building, no other, that building, his particular spot, it was,
And who on council went and measured and verified that?
I was trying to think of the way that it was worded, it wasn't
I stopped.
it wasn't a variance, but it was like that.
And counted the ribs on the side, it's our panel. The county rib on the panel is 1,500 square foot living area. It's 30 by 50 living, plus the porches. I think that's legal in our books.
Who verified how much masonry is on the side of the building?
The mayor at the time,
He was mayor when it was approved.
no, it was not.
It's in the June 29, let me just pull them up, one moment.
Okay.
I read the minutes? Is that okay?
Yeah, look,
Okay. City of Briaroaks meeting, June 4th, 2019, time started at 7:30 p.m. Mayor Salinas, Andy Bode, Bill Henshaw, Mary Foster, Richard Foster, Jack Perkey, Carolyn Johnson. Nikki Perkey for Animal Control and Policy, and the police officer were all present. The Briaroaks City Council met in a regular meeting in the Briaroaks Fire Hall on June 3rd, 2019. Roll was called. Mayor Pro Tem Andy Bode presided. Mayor Pro Tem Andy Bode swore in Mayor Martin Salinas. Martin Salinas swore in Bill Henshaw, place 4, and Jack Perkey, place 2. The minutes of the last meeting were read by Ms. Foster. Carolyn Johnson moved that they be accepted as read. It was seconded by Andy Bode. The vote was 5-0. During the reading of the minutes, a discussion was held about the dirt track being built next door to Mr. Friend's house. The problem seems to have resolved itself. The tract owner has decided not to continue to build it because of the lack of interest of his family. However, Ms. Terri reported that the tract owner diverted water onto her property and almost flooded her house. The mayor said that it may become a legal problem. The treasurer's report was read by Mary Foster. Richard Foster moves, seconded by Bill Henshaw, that the report is to be approved. Vote 5-0, yes. Nikki Perkey, Animal Control Officer, had no fault. She continues to patrol.
okay.
But, would you like me to skip down to the name? It says that Mr. Matthew Terri approached the council with a drawing of his plot on Tarver, the vacant lot previously owned by Robert Browning. Mr. Terri has cleared the lot and is ready to build a 1,600 square foot house. That will be 60% masonry instead of the 80% required. The picture was impressive. He will build a 30 by 40 storage building behind it. The council discussed the plans. Mr. Foster moved that we accept the house plans on Tarver Road. Waive the 80% masonry clause in favor of 60% and allow a 30 by 40 foot shop to be built at the same time. The city will need to seek required county permits, seconded by Bill Henshaw. Vote 5-0 yes. That's what happened. Where's my record?
You should have approved it.
Well, that's the house right here on the corner.
No.
No, it's over on Harbor Road.
It's farther down.
I know what you're thinking about.
Over
From
Ward,
Road
it
to
goes
Land.
south.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
in Brown
yeah.
on Ward.
But that's not working.
But he didn't build that house, he just had it on.
No, not that one.
That's not.
Not the horse
that's
farm.
not the house. It's farther.
It's
You got
all
it.
up, yeah.
Not the horse farm. Go south on Harbor off Ward.
Yeah, it's well up past that curve
Yes,
on the left.
yes.
Yeah, that's not the one that was approved this. The one you're talking about, I think was this one here.
No.
He never built.
No, Mr. Terri owns a house on South Harbor, going south.
Well,
That's what was presented in June of 2019.
I understand. But, you know, I'm just gonna have, I mean, like I say, I do not have a vote unless it's tied. But me, personally, my opinion, I feel like the council should have been a little more aggressive on checking this work. And we made a mistake, and we didn't do it. The house was already there. And you know, I'm looking at it as, we need to, I look at it as a learning lesson, guys. We dropped the ball. We didn't probably do the correct way. And I think in the past, we haven't taken any action or voted on it. We have discussed about, maybe every other month or every 2 months, maybe a couple of each council members can now kind of police the houses that are getting built to make sure that it's done to spec. But, I mean, of course, it's gonna be up to the council to decide what they wanna do on the farm, but I think that we just dropped the ball. We need to do a better job next time. And And I think,
I think this could really call out the code compliance thing too. Because it would be really hard for us to go, are you gonna go by the house today? Are you gonna go by the house today? You know, and so we need to think about the process that we go through. So this doesn't have to be.
Is the council prepared in case his neighbors sue him that you guys didn't enforce what you approved to handle that situation?
well, if it comes to that, the council's gonna have to decide. And, you know, and that's just the way it is. They're gonna have to decide how to proceed, what legal action they're gonna have to take.
No, it was fast, I thought we were supposed to take care of it.
Yeah, we never did. So we just kept talking about what we were gonna do. The next one, request septic tank, percolation test. Everybody, I don't know who put that on there.
That's all part of 2145.
That's part of 2145.
Yeah.
That was the permit that he was supposed to have brought to you all, is the follow-up from his initial approval in June of 2019. You all always request, and it's listed in ordinances, albeit it is outdated. You know what kind of septic system you
Yes, I
install.
requested that.
And so, did you receive it?
No, he was supposed to bring it, he was supposed to come here. We were supposed to send a letter to him. Mayor said he would take care of it.
Okay.
I didn't write him the letter because I just felt like we dropped the ball. We probably should have been more aggressive in keeping up with the way he was building it. We didn't do it.
Well, why didn't you write him a letter?
I just got to tell you, that's why I didn't write the letter.
Well, why didn't you tell us?
I didn't think.
No, you didn't.
Without getting a municipal attorney involved in this, I would drop this.
Actually, you asked him to bring the information out there. They didn't do it. You don't write a letter for that, you're gonna write a letter because we didn't get to listen to the plans.
So just to clarify, you're still within the right as the city council to enforce something, but you're electing not to do it. I just want to understand that. You're electing
Well,
not
the
to
city
pursue
council
it.
has every right to enforce certain
Right.
items and not enforce.
Right, I'm asking the council. They're electing not to enforce the city ordinances or do what's necessary to keep Briaroaks where it is. So setting a precedent for future home builders to come in and do the same thing. Is that right? I just want to know.
What?
I said it's
Now,
not.
speaking with a municipal attorney, that is the key.
I'm ready.
A new business discussion on the new city council position, as you know, I think most of y'all have heard, Mr. Foster, Richard Foster passed away. This is gonna be, the council's decision. The reason that I kind of tabled, I wasn't gonna try to act on it anyway in this council meeting because the mayor election is next month, May 1st, and I felt that the new mayor, whoever it might be me, might be Mr. Favorite, he should have some kind of input in it and say, and I know that the mayor can't vote on it unless it's a tie, but I just felt that would probably be the best table that until after the election. But that will give the council members some time to decide who they maybe would like to nominate, or so we can bring it up to a vote in the June meeting.
I was talking to Mary the other day, and she said she would be interested in following up his term, if everybody wanted her.
Well, I just feel like for right now, we should discuss it. I think we should wait until after the election in May, and then come June, if somebody wants to nominate whatever person they want to nominate, then that's what it should be. But right now, I think we should discuss it. The next item would be the discuss and approval of the 2021 budget, and I think that the probably thing that the Bode and Ms. Johnson has made some comments about maybe correcting some of the wording in the budget as far as the co-compliance and eliminating police officer. Believe me, been a police officer for over 35 years. I would never defund the police, never. And my deal would be, I would like it, of course, that's totally up to the council votes on this. Yes, I would like to have maybe someone that could work, 10 hours a month, clean up ditches, co-compliance, to keep an eye on the new building permits, building homes. Are being built now, Briaroaks. And then, of course, keep the police officer, but, like I say, but I would like to make sure that the police officer has the correct tools to work
As far as this budget goes, that second line item, code compliance inspector needs to be scratched off, police officer needs to be put back in there.
And then if we decide on a code compliance officer, it doesn't matter, because that item will be in there anyway.
Needs to be scratched out, needs to be written.
It's just the wording, it says in lieu of police officer. It's fine if you have both, but it says in lieu of police officer. That's pretty hard.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Someone like a co-compliant officer probably wouldn't even need to work 10 hours a month, work less, because he could work when there's none complaints as far as, junk cars, high weeds, trash that's getting accumulated from their yards, stuff like that.
It sounds more like an HOA.
No.
Yeah, it does,
Right.
a code inspector
Burleson
to come
has-
on your property.
Burleson has co-compliant officers.
They also has a police officer to back him up.
And we live in Briaroaks because we don't want Burleson rules and taxes.
I understand
We'll
that.
discuss
But
that,
has
let's
nothing to do with
stay
the-
with our agenda item, it's this budget. So how about putting, which I like the suggestion of that, code compliance inspector in lieu of police officer. Are you okay with that, or just scratch it with police officer?
I'd scratch out, put a police officer in now until we discuss it later.
Another
It should be discussed.
So,
Another item that I would like for y'all to consider is when we add Kelly and Vicky to the payroll company, y'all need to really consider, of course, Mr. Perkey would not vote on this, but consider giving Vicky a raise. She's already making very minimal wages, and if you start taking federal tax and social security out of the check, then it's done. That's for an animal control person, what she does, that's not gonna, that's sad. But she's not gonna have any money left out of her little paycheck that she gets. So that's something that I wish that y'all will consider and make some kind of amendment to the salary, because that's not, you know. Be making $75 a month, and you take their security, federal tax on the $75 a month. And really, who would work for that? So, think about that.
It's showing here that she makes $150 a month.
If you're gonna have her work 20 hours a month, you must pay her minimum wage.
She doesn't work.
She doesn't work 20 hours a month.
The job description I had seen for her was 20 hours a month.
How many hours do you work a month that you can verify?
I don't know, some months are more than others.
So you guys not
That's
get
what-
the
that's
time
what
card
it
on
is.
her?
That's what it's gonna, no, that's what it's gonna depend on. How many hours she can get down on paper and verify it. If we're gonna, you know,
So then her
discuss how many
salary
hours
will
that somebody
fluctuate.
can work in a month.
Okay, yeah. So she's either gonna be like that hourly, you're gonna pay her for every hour, and she'll be different every month, but you have to pay her a minimum of $7.25 an hour. in the state of Texas.
Or you pay her
And
contract.
how does it work that people work for salaries? It's not paid per hour.
Right, her position wouldn't be a salary position. She's not classified as such based on what she does. My position is salary. She's gonna be an hourly position. So if she's scheduled for 20 hours a month and you're not keeping a time card on her, you're gonna have to pay her the 20 hours a month.
Who says it's not a salary position?
That's how it's classified, that's really,
No, I just want to know where I can look and see this.
The part of the labor.
it is.
It is.
Sometimes the boy is only like
Too much?
the boy, you get a lot of money.
Well, that's what I'm saying, I mean, that's like Paul Stevens, you know, we pay, Paul Stevens was the minimum of 20 hours a month. So there's some months, I'm sure you work more, some months you work less, but we pay.
These are salary position.
Huh?
These are salary position because that's considered professional. Right. That's a question. In your corporate world, you don't want to go into a certain level up in your salary position. And so, Kelly can write on there. I mean, how can, let's just see if we can get this budget approved today, because can this be tweaked? Do you want to approve a raise?
I mean, it is a change from the previous amount, the previous budget. Normally, whenever you make a change, I mean, it's not that much money. When you make a change like that, it usually, you have to do it in the same manner as you do the budget.
So you can approve it tonight, and if you choose to change this, we could approve that at a different time, I just want to.
I don't know, I just wanted to know where we could look and see what the story is here, especially about working a minimum of 20 hours a month. I don't think that applies,
Where's her job description?
but I want to see it. I mean, I don't doubt what you're saying. I have to see it. I just want to see it.
So who has it?
You should have your own business, too.
Yeah, that's another thing, you know, we don't pay her for mileage, we don't pay her gas. She drives her own car, and we want to give her $75 a month. So,
If you're gonna go that route, do the whole thing, she has to do work order. So that you see everything that's spent per work order. How many hours,
well, then you,
how many are logged?
I'll just ask her, but, you know, you didn't ask Paul for work order, you didn't ask him for time sheets, so you can't just decide you're gonna ask certain employees and not others. You gotta make it all uniform.
It's always been real neighborly. If you start treating them like that, your neighbor's not gonna love it.
Start what? It's not neighborly?
I said, it's always been handled by our neighbors, very neighborly.
I know, but we're not compliant by doing payroll. That's a big thing as far as being an corporation.
So if you start asking your
Very
police
much.
officer and your dog catcher to keep records like that and treat them that way, I'm just saying you're gonna probably
That's a
have trouble
state.
finding a police
No,
officer.
actually, it's a federal law. And you can't, see if they came in and audited us, we would be out of compliance. That's a problem. I mean, we should want to give Vicki everything that we can. for what
I'm
we
not
can.
doubting you, I just don't know who's gonna do it for that amount of money. Keep it-
Exactly, so we have to
Good luck.
balance it and increase that. That's the only way it will work.
Exactly.
So it's-
More than neighborly.
We need to find a job description, and then if there is one that says that she works in 20 hours.
Isn't the ordinance 96-1 animal control, isn't that a description of her job
Yeah, force that ordinance.
to enforce that ordinance?
When it's 96,
Right.
It's about 18 pages long.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
it is.
Okay.
Pick up as no. That's it.
And we'll find the largest in the city, and that's the understand.
Right.
We're gonna do this one out. We need to go back to Bode and see how you do it.
You need to give her a raise.
I have a question. Where are you gonna jiggle the money from to cover one, you gotta jiggle money to cover the payroll service? So you need to look at where you're taking money from in the budget to cover the other first.
Yeah, well, like I said, we'll probably need to table this, make it like a little meeting workshop so we can figure out what money.
Oh, this payroll company is already in here. Payroll service, we already have it in the budget.
It wasn't enough.
What?
It wasn't enough. The payroll service was higher than what the budget.
Okay, let's go down.
There's a selected one. There's one presented that's within that budget on your sheets. You all have one that falls within the $75.
Talk about it on right in the next thing.
We need to schedule the budget.
Do we?
That way we can figure out. I thought that we had decided to go over the payroll.
No, see, that's just it, we never really discussed it in here. The suggestion was that we all tell her what to do, but that's doing business outside of the council.
So we never voted on the payroll.
No, we need to do that tonight,
Okay.
so that that can get in place, because everybody's in violation of it.
So there was 3 payroll questions.
Right, there's the tax,
You guys have a sheet, you have a sheet for it.
the last page.
This is in the front. Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
This is that.
Ready to, you wanna make a motion, I wanna make, hear a motion on the payroll.
Okay, since Texas taxes is all inclusive, they take on all the liabilities of getting the reporting done, and the checks, even direct deposit. I make a motion that Texas taxes be selected as our payroll.
They're actually more expensive than the bottom one, because the bottom one's annual, which you know, really that I did too. So, the one on the bottom actually is less expensive. And, well, then you get quarterly reports are maybe 5, so that's times 4. Like this does, and then like products or additional money for the year. But on the top one,
To get the same apples to apples, that is your top 706, 796. It includes
okay,
everything.
that includes everything, so it's 796.
So, right, so I tried to show you, for both companies, all three, you're receiving the same, one is 150, one is 100, and one is the 50.
So the one actually 66. Not less.
Because we need the things.
And the one on the bottom, does it ever change?
You're paying all the card, but you would want everything, so I just added a little bit.
Okay, so the total for everything is 796.93.
Yeah.
So that equals 66. Oh, she's 500 or 66.41.
Yeah, that way you can see. It's 150 a month, or just 66, 41, depending on if you did the direct deposit or not. If you don't do the direct deposits, you still have to write checks every month. So they're gonna come off the checkbook or it's direct deposit.
So the bottom one would save $1,000 a year.
Okay, but I think Mr. Bode made a motion for the first one, I didn't hear a second. for that.
I second.
They made a- even though the bottom is cheaper, but they made a second motion, so I have to put it for a vote. So in favor of the first one, Texas tax, in favor of that. Okay. And who's against it? Any nays? You're against it?
No.
Okay, Mr. Perkey? You're against this one here? They made a motion for this, but this is cheaper. Terry's against this one. Bode,
Oh, then better vote.
they voted, but this is.
Yeah, but this, here, you got a choice for everything you need.
This will still be $1,000 cheaper than this one. No, you can vote, you don't want that one?
No, I'll go with these people.
Any opposed?
2 opposed, 2 in favor.
I didn't see them say they were opposed.
You
All
opposed?
opposed.
You're opposed?
He was opposed as well.
Go ahead. That's what he said, no.
No?
The motion fails. We have a motion for a different company.
I oppose that we go with the overcash on the bottom one, which is 66.41 monthly versus 150 monthly. With the savings of
So what'd you
$1,000.
vote?
Excuse me?
Mr. Salinas, what did you vote? You need to break the tie.
No, if I look at saving money, I would have to vote against it. I would have to.
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
So, you know, I thought you were done, so you weren't done with that, so when I did my motion, you weren't complete with your motion?
Well, that's.
Well, there was a tie, two tie, there was
He was
a tie.
ties, and I voted no for the Texas.
No for the first one, okay.
Okay.
I just wanted,
Now you can make it.
Okay. I motion that we use the bottom one, the over cash, because it's 641 a month versus 150, which is $1,000 savings annually. Okay. Which is a savings of $1,000, plus that includes everything that the person does.
Do I hear a second on the catch? You,
Yes, that's.
I second that.
in favor of it, we'll have a vote, in favor?
it costs more than you think it does. I'll tell you now.
Do you do payroll?
And it says in here, she doesn't really know what the cost is, she's just guessing, because she doesn't have it in front of her.
Right.
$796.
For additional 93 a year approximate cost as she didn't have it in front of her.
Right.
$796 annually, plus $66.41 a month for direct deposit.
I do payroll at our company.
It's still, it says right here.
Quarterly reports, $85. Did you figure all that in?
It is in there.
Yes, it's figured in, everything apples to apples was
That's what we
figured
said a
in.
minute ago.
They can provide a pay stub, but you have to write the check.
Right, there's
They
two
can do
options.
additional direct deposit for $90 on top of it all year. $24 annual charge for the W-2.
I know you don't own a business, but I do. We do payroll, and this is a very good price for that. And when they say they'll write a check, that gives them options. Some people don't have direct deposit. Some people don't have a checking account. So that's really the best way to do that.
Some people don't have internet.
So you need to have both options. That's really the most compliant, is to have both options. So which she would have, you know. Here we go. Okay, so we have
Yeah, go down.
2, 4.
2, 4, 2, 8.
So you are.
We didn't actually vote.
Who's for it? Who's for option 3 in here?
Who's for?
We did do that. We both did that.
You for it,
Yeah, I'm for it.
and you're for it,
Yes.
who's against?
Are you for it?
For overcash?
For the third one?
No, I thought we voted
I
on.
say no. Let me guess, you're gonna say yes.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna say yes.
Thank you.
That'll end up costing us more.
Yeah.
I hope it's in the budget.
You're gonna break it down? Yeah, I wrote it down. Inside the box. I'm gonna table the interlocal corporation agreement with Johnson County for discussion. I did not bring the form with me. Basically what that is, I'll give it to you real short. In the ETJ area, when a person wants to build a house and they ask for a plat exemption, I usually write a letter.
What happened to the budget? You didn't pass.
We tabled the budget because we're gonna have to come up with the money, show where we're gonna take the money to pay Vicky more, if we're gonna pay her more, totally up to the council. And that's why we wait on. But anyway, that's just, I have to write a letter, and they take it to the Johnson County, office saying that it's okay for them to build a house in the ETJ area. And that interlocal agreement is that from now on, of course, the council has to approve it. If it's approved by the council, then the county will start doing all that, and the mayor doesn't have to write it. And that's something that, but the council has to approve it, the secretary has to sign off on it. And I thought I had it, and I didn't bring it, so.
Can we bring it into the
So we're
other
gonna
one?
figure out. that interlocal corporation.
Exactly what is the interlocal agreement for?
In the ETJ area, when a person wants to build a home and they ask for a plat exception, the county wants the person to get a letter from the mayor saying that it's okay for them to build a house in the ETJ area. So instead of me writing a letter, the county will now do it, and they will load it, and they will notify us that our house is gonna be built in the ETJ area, but we don't have to write the letter anymore, the county will take care of it.
Okay,
But you, like I say, but it has to be approved by the council, and it has to be signed off also by the secretary. And I didn't bring it.
before that occurs, our document manager, please check, there is something about an ETJ agreement with Burleson. I think we signed our ETJ over to them.
I think I had that at home. When I worked
Just, before we
When did we sign it over? It was before I.
1971.
Well, I don't know whether they keep calling us or keep calling me, Johnson County keeps calling.
It's listed as town of Briaroaks, so it has to be 71.
I worked in Rosen, I saw it. And I think I caught it.
Okay. I guess the next item would be the election judges, council members to appoint election judges.
Is this a secret set?
Uh, Paul and Billy Stevens said that they would be election judges. And I spoke to Sydney Sims, the lady that you told me to talk to, Sydney Sims, the Sims. She lives on Valley View right by Paul Stevens.
Yeah.
She said she would do it too.
Cindy, your name, Cindy.
Cindy?
Yeah.
I heard it said.
That's to be the primary election.
You guys have to select a primary, and then I will work with that primary to select the other people that are in charge. The council has to vote the primary or the election code.
Did that get Mrs. Stevens?
Whatever y'all vote
I don't know, but I know she's.
on. Billy
she's got it
has
before.
done
So, I mean, y'all know Billy over me, so it seems like she's done it before, so she knows what she's doing. Peggy said she would be an alternate. So,
Peggy Lawton,
Peggy Marcus.
did you say Lawton?
She's not related to anybody else.
She's my son-in-law's, grandmother.
I'm Sydney Sims, and I'm one of the judges, and I know the other three.
Yeah. Is it Cindy or Cindy?
Sydney, S-I-D-Y.
You all just need to select the election judge, and then I will work with them to fill positions.
What else is like?
So you want to be the election judge, or are we going to pass Billy?
You're gonna,
You want to be the judge?
Yes, we have them lined up, the judges, the election judges.
So would you be the main election judge? What was the primary? Is that it? The primary election judge, would you agree to be that, and then you could work with the others?
Well, no, I'm not the head
I
person.
think
Is it
Billy,
Billy?
Billy,
They're neighbors.
We're neighbors.
Since 1975.
Yeah, I think it was Peggy before, and she's not gonna be, so we need another.
We have got someone else lined up, I understand.
Okay.
My husband died over 2 weeks ago, and I'm kind of lost track a little bit, but I'm gonna do it.
Sorry.
So,
Yeah.
that's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's vote for Billy. Billy's a place and she got a little more. Yeah.
Right, so you guys are responsible for just doing the election, then my responsibility as the election official hired in this position is to work with them to set the schedule and do everything else.
Okay. So, we can make a motion, I guess, a motion to appoint Billy Stevenson as the primary election judge.
Would somebody talk to her, would she take it?
Do you
I like what she,
Do y'all agree that
Well,
Billy's,
all in favor of making, Billy Stevens? For,
The next thing we need to do is determine the day that we're gonna canvass the votes of the election. We cannot canvass them prior to May 7th at 5 p.m. if we have any, provisional ballots cast during the election. So without knowing that, we need to schedule it after 5 p.m. May 7th. You have until May 12th to complete the canvass. My suggestion would go ahead and hold it at 6 p.m. May 7th.
that's on Friday?
You guys. We have to get the 3-day notice regardless. So we vote on it and determine the day, so we can meet the canvass.
I guess we need to ask. If we're gonna do it here, we have to make sure.
What time?
They said
Oh, there's my suggestions.
the 7th at 6:30.
We just need to make sure it's open.
Right.
That's it.
Or select 2, take the first one if it's available, don't take the second one if it's not.
Oh, that's a good idea.
As long as you
Because I
guys
think
have
Saturdays, they're always busy at some.
selected something, so we can, we've got to just post it.
Okay.
Deadlines.
How about the 7th at 6:30? But then I'm afraid, I don't know about a Saturday at this fire station. It seems like it's always busy. You want to maybe jump to a Monday on the 10th instead? You know, it doesn't matter to me, I just.
As long as it's at least, what, 7 o'clock?
It's the
There's
7th.
no guarantee I'm gonna be able to.
Okay, we'll do the 7th at 7 or the 10th at 7 as an alternative, since we don't really know if the fire station schedule is happening.
10 would be. The 10
On
would be
the-
fine.
Okay, she said do an
Let's
alternative.
have it
in
just
case
2
7
days
won't
in
work.
case one doesn't work.
One person at a time.
We've decided, maybe Kelly suggested do an alternative if the 7th doesn't work, so the 7th and the 10th at 7.
That's fine.
What are the dates you're talking about?
The dates they're gonna canvass the votes,
Well, it'd be nice if I was included.
I'm sorry. We picked alternatives because we don't know the fire station's schedule, if they will allow us, but May 7th at 7, and if that doesn't work, it would be May 10th, the Monday at 7.
Both of them at 7 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
I have something. The Briaroaks is scheduled, the fire department is scheduling their fish fry on the 15th, and usually the week before they are in here getting stuff packed in and set up. So that would be the 7th, so just so you know that that's a.
The Fish fries on the 15th?
Yeah, so the weekend before, a week before, they're always packing in stuff. So just as a,
There's
Well,
no,
I know Cross Timbers is in here on the 13th to canvass their votes, just so y'all know. They're doing it a day late.
Yeah, let's just look at those dates, I guess, and see what it works with the fire station. You okay with that? Okay. You okay?
Well, I realize we always work with the fire station and their issues, so that's understandable.
is there a requirement it has to be done in the building? Can it not be done outside in the parking lot? Does it have to be done in the building if it's on premise?
It just has to be done somewhere.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be done here at all.
Oh, that's good. So those
Okay.
are the issues, we have that up here, we'll just open it back up. I'm serious. So we'll make it work.
And then we're planning for May 7th, right? May 7th. Next one, discussion and possible action on meeting time.
Yes. I think it's very difficult. We don't have monthly meetings. We have every other month, so we're talking 6 times a year. 6 times. But I think by having meetings that start at 7:30, we're pushing a lot of people out. That's a long time to wait on a Monday, I think, to have a meeting, especially if you're working 8 to 5, maybe, you know. I've had other meetings scheduled. I've never been to a meeting that started at 7:30 ever, that late at night. I think more people would probably be prone to be here if it weren't so late. So that's why I would like to have it at 6:30 instead of 7:30.
Ma'am, there's a lot of people that drive in from Fort Worth that work in Fort Worth and can't make it to the meetings earlier.
Really? Yes. 7:30? I used to work in Fort Worth. That's a tremendous amount of time. Well, I guess if you, depending on what you do, but most are 8 to 5. But, okay, so you think it would be better if more people would attend at 7:30 versus 6:30?
The times we have now are gonna be just as good as changing, there's no point. This is what we've always had, so.
Okay, well, maybe when we send out the newsletter and more people know about this meeting, then we can talk about changing the time to see, you know, how they feel about it. We have to think about that. Because I personally think it's difficult, but I'm on the board besides this.
Well, I live here at the corner of Ward and Trailwood, and traffic starts by my house on people coming home about 3 o'clock, and it doesn't end until after 6:30. So people are not getting home until later. And, you know,
And if they're a contractor, they're gonna work late anyway, they're not gonna work 5, they're gonna work 6 or 7, so.
yeah.
Okay. Then maybe we can go to monthly meetings, because it's too difficult for people like me working 12 hours a day, because I own a company, so I have to stay here till 9:30 at night on Monday, and I work multiple
And
hours.
that's where if y'all get it together and get the minutes adjusted and approved prior to getting here, and everything is off, the meeting will go quicker, and you'll get this done in an hour and a half and be gone.
That's a good idea.
These used to be an hour flat. Done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
We had to go through 3 meeting minutes today, so yeah.
discuss and take action regarding secretary responsibilities. Kelly, did I give you a list of responsibilities?
Yes.
They're very outdated, and you all have mentioned at different times of different responsibilities that I should or should not do. So I felt like it was a good time to bring that up, to make sure you all are okay with what I'm doing, making changes to what I'm doing. I mean, packets were not included in that, so I was not aware that council members would like the packet mailed to their homes prior to the meeting, and what that packet should contain. If that's the case, we're going to have to get the agenda done in a timely manner so that I know what he sent in the packet, and that will arrive on time.
Council members, any suggestions? 'Cause
Well, the agenda was not included in what she mailed out, it was the minutes.
So you want the agenda and the minutes mailed out?
Well, you would have to make the agenda,
The
really,
agenda is the mayor's responsibility,
right.
period.
Okay,
Well,
just so you're
yeah.
aware, that's on my job duties, so that's where we already have a conflict. You guys are saying it's his responsibility, it was handed to me on the job responsibilities I have, so whose is it? So I know
Both
what I'm
of you.
doing.
Both of them.
According to the state, he is the agenda maker. He can
Okay.
hand it to you.
No, so I'm saying it was on the job duties I received.
Mhm.
That's where there's a discrepancy,
To
so I wanna make sure that if I'm not supposed to do
On,
them,
on yours,
I
it should
don't.
say to print the agenda.
Okay, well, it
Print and
doesn't.
distribute. That's what it should say.
Okay, so it doesn't, that's what I'm saying, I wanna make sure that we're all on the same page, what I'm supposed to do.
Where's this list?
Where's the job description, please?
I don't have it with me, that's why I'm asking.
And I think mine emailed to me, along with the minutes.
You're gonna make some more.
Well, according to the same actually, can you show me or send me a copy of the state statute that says the mayor has to prepare the?
Yeah. No problem. You can look on TML website.
No, I'm not gonna look at it. I'm asking you, if you really want to draw it up.
Oh my gosh.
Because I don't remember,
It says, prepare the agenda, then have it approved by the mayor.
That's not right, he is
Okay.
responsible
So
for the.
that's what I'm saying, I
That's,
just wanna make
that's
sure we're
why,
right.
that's why I objected at early hiring of the secretary, because we did not have the secretary's duties written out, the new ones.
So did you present some to him, so he would have them?
No, we didn't have them.
But you didn't present any to him?
No, we didn't sit down and do them.
So you guys didn't have a meeting or put it on the agenda to
We did
discuss?
not have an approved description,
Okay,
to my knowledge.
why haven't you presented anything to date so that I'm doing the correct job duties?
Because it hasn't been on the agenda, I guess. I don't know.
You can put it on the agenda.
Yes, I
You're a
know.
council, I'm not a council person.
But you're acting like one.
No, I'm
We're
trying to
going
get
to
this correct.
suggestions and talking, you know. The secretary does not say anything but take the minutes and read the
She can't do her job.
reports.
She's asking to get her job description down, so to ask him to.
Well, I think we need to sit down and do a job description, so she will know.
Start, what suggestions do you have?
Well, we can't do it tonight. We don't have.
we'll pick a day and time if you want to.
How about leaving that to the new manager?
Well, I just hate to start doing it again.
Because you're gonna have to do, if you want code compliance, you're gonna do that, and you want police officer, and might as well throw it in patrol while you're at it. So just do it all in one fell swoop. And then you're done with it. If you're gonna need to do that, do all of them at one time.
Including city council.
Yeah, special meeting? Because then we can get through, that would be one whole meeting. Just do that. Okay.
a second? All in favor?
What was the motion?
There was somebody, I'm sorry, there was somebody for 2032 ballot, who was supposed to present plans for construction.
Yes, here. Oh, I'm sorry. Take that back.
I'm sorry. Are you ready?
All I got is, I don't know who do I show this to? No, oh, yeah. Look at it, flat, house and stuff, I was told that's, where I was building a garage. Back, this is the back of the house. It's in the northwest corner, which is 15 feet off this property line here, 10 feet off this one. It's 30 by 40 garage. It's right there. It's a metal building, steel slab. That's our contact here. I looked at the house. That one that watching the grass goes on. Yeah, well, I go up the driveway and then go. Yeah, there's one.
There's something better.
Yes, it's like. They drove, like I said, 6 stuff on the back road, so this might be they open up. It's 12.
It's out.
Make a motion for him to have.
I make a motion to accept the
She said,
Favor, hopefully, favor. Or,
Well, I'm not sure for the meeting.
Huh?